Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Welcome to 360 OET prep series. Inshallah, today we will cover writing subtest workshop. And as you can see on your screen, I have a file for you. We will go through different sections of this important subtest, and we will see the whole go through and template of these important tests. I will also highlight the important tips and tricks in this workshop, and we will also see the common mistakes that should be avoided during the test. So let's start with the first important format. Most of you are well aware of this format, or and it's not a new thing for you, as you are aware that there is in writing subject writing section there is a case note, and the task is to write a letter. It can be a discharge letter or a referral letter or an urgent referral letter. Mostly around 90 to 95% the task is to write a referral letter. But in the recent exam there was a typical letter that was discharged letter. So you should be aware of all these three important types, and you should be it should be in your reflexes to write these letters. It doesn't matter what is in the paper or task. So let's see the timing for each task. Here is there are 5 minutes of reading time and 40 minutes for writing. As a whole, the writing subtest includes 45 minutes, and you have to deal with this subtest in 45 minutes. During the first 5 minutes, you are not allowed to pick up the pencil, and if you'll do that, the examiner or invigilator will shout at you. So be careful at this time and utilize it carefully. You have some important things to do in these 5 minutes, and I will show you in the tips and tricks section. The other important point to be cleared here, that this part is wholly solely objective area. It is not a it is not a sorry, it's a subjective area. It's not an objective area. It's not computerized format test. Uh, it it will be evaluated by OET assessors, that can be two or three. In case of our exam, the Australian assessors, that there will be two assessors that will evaluate your whole letter and mark them. They have eventually given important criterion for the marking, and you can see in front of you that these important points should be well weighed if you are writing a letter, because it actually makes your letter worthy or evaluated in the better sense. The first point is purpose. The purpose of the letter should be very clear, quick and precise. It should be written in the intro of the letter. I will demonstrate the purpose of the letter in the template. The other point is content. It should have all necessary information, and I must emphasize that you don't need to go for the normal findings. Only the positive findings or the abnormal findings in investigation, in examination, in history uh, is important here. So you can pick up the important findings and rewrite them or rearrange them during the letter. The other important point is conciseness and clarity. Clarity is important here because you don't need to make complex sentences in the case of this subtest, and you don't need to go hover to a very complex grammar here. They will not evaluate for the complexity here, they will evaluate you for the clarity. The next important point is the genre and style. Genre and style is actually an organization and layout subtitle, and there is an appropriateness for all the letter. And if you are writing a referral letter, your genre or style should be and your tone should be in the purpose of your in the purpose of for the assessment and management of your patient's care. If you're writing a discharge letter, Your tone should be light because it's not an emergency, it's not a serious case there. So it should be in that way. The organization and letter includes a complete template. I will demonstrate that when we go further. The language of the letter, obviously it should be clear, and it should be proficient, such as vocabulary, spelling, punctuation, grammar is important in marking criterion as well. So let's see the sample of original writing subtest here, and I have the original paper in front of you. This is the case note, and this comes with the important information, and the similar information, the introduction that I have already told you. Reading time is 5 minutes and writing time is 45 minutes. Then there are the details for the patient, the name, date of birth, social history, substance intake, allergies, and family history, like that. And then you have medical history, and then you have different visits. And during that visit, the information includes history, examination, investigation, and treatment. These important aspects are given in each visit, and you have to arrange them in this chronological order. And next one is the plan of action. It's important because in our last paragraph we are actually doing we are actually rephrasing this plan of action, and we are actually making the purpose of the letter more clear. And this area that includes all the necessary information that to whom you are writing the letter. And from here you should read from you should start reading your case note, because this is the important starting of the letter. As you can see, this includes gastroenterologist Dr. Jason Roberts, to whom you are writing the letter, and the hospital name Newton's Hospital, and the address of the hospital, that is 111 High Street, Newton. So this is the starting of the letter, and you will see in the format that this comes in at the top of each letter. And the word count here is 180 to 200 words, roughly saying you have around 175 to 210 word range. If you go beyond to this range, or if you are less to this range, you will that will be considered a negative impression, and the marks will be obviously deducted for that reason. So let us see what we have been given on the official OET website, and you can see they have given a handsome set of a letter. And you see here that the format is obviously it's not a perfect format, but it's very important in the sense that it includes some important information that I am going to highlight now. The first important thing is there is no comma and no full stop in front of that. This means that if you are writing a letter and you put comma here, it will consider as it will not considered the deduction, the cause of your marking deduction. And if you don't put that, it will also don't considered it will also not be considered as the deduction of your marks there. So you can put or you cannot put here, but the most optimum thing is you should not put the comma or full stop in front of these important information. You will start with the name of the doctor here to whom you are referring the letter, to whom you are writing a letter, and then the hospital name, then the address here. So this is the four bunch line here. The next one is the date. There are different formats for the date. I will demonstrate you in the format as well. And you can see here it's the most optimum format, and there is no comma here. Please highlight this important thing. Make sure that you are paying heed to this important information, that there is no comma here. In Pakistani style, in different country styles, there is a reflex in our writing that we put the comma here, but in official writing you should not put comma here. And the next important point is the addressing annotation, and here we have dear Dr. Roberts and with the comma. This comma is far more important than any other comma in this letter. There are three important areas where you must put the comma. This is the first area, and the next one is this area, and last one is the your after your sincerely area. These important three areas should be rechecked after you have completed your task, and you must put these commas there. The other important point to be noted here is the colon. When you write the referral RE, you put the colon here and then colon here and then the name of the patient with the date of birth. You can also write age as well. That is also considered correct, but the most important optimum is as I have already told you, this is the official letter of the OET from the OET website, so you can pay heed to this and you can stick to this as well. Then you will start with the introduction, and that introduction includes the purpose, a clear cut purpose. There are different intro lines or like breaking ice points here. Now you can start with thank you for seeing Miss Hall. You can start with I am writing to refer this patient name, and like this. And you will see here a 45-year-old secondary school teacher. It's not 45 years old. If we put hyphen, you don't need to put years old here, and you will put the double comma here. It the after the age of the patient, after you put the occupation of the patient. If the occupation is relevant to the disease of the patient, you must put you must put the occupation here in that place, in this place. So this is the introduction, and then this is the first visit, this is the second visit, and this is the other important paragraphs, and this is the outro paragraph, and after that you have your sincerely. Dash of the sincerely must be small, and there is again an important comma here. That is the third important place that you must put the comma. And the last important point is the doctor. You don't need to write your name here. It will reveal your identity, and that is not considered a part of the exam. You must write doctor, or you can write nurse if you are a nurse, or you can write physiotherapist if you are physiotherapist, whatever your profession is. So the important point is you must capitalize the first case of this, capitalize this first letter of this word, D. All right, this is the important breakdown of the template that is mentioned by Rebecca or OET from the OET officials, and you can see they have actually divided the whole letter into boxes. I will only demonstrate it. It's not an optimum way to learn, but it will obviously put the value in your preparation afterwards. First one is the name and address, like you have mentioned in the first four lines. Then you have the date. You can write the date here in that place, or you can write the date in top of before name and address. Both are considered correct, but the most optimum one is mentioned already here. You can go for it. And then the greetings annotation, then referral line, then we have the introduction paragraph, then middle paragraphs where we have the chronological order of our visits, and then we have the final paragraph that has the outro order, and that also has the purpose, that has also the today's like recent visit or the today's visit. And in the ending you have the ending annotation or dressing line, like please contact in case of any query, like that, these annotations there. And then you have yours sincerely and job title. Let me highlight another important point here, that the counting number count of the letter includes only this area, the body. It will not include your address, date, greeting line. Even ending and job title is not considered as the word in the word count when they are analyzing your letter. So it's an important concept, and there is much misconception about this important word count. So you must be aware of that. Like this important area, body is only the area that is included in word count. I hope I'm making myself clear. So next one is the template breakdown. I have important intro paragraphs here, intro lines, including the the purpose for the referral, for the discharge, for the complaint is not a part of OET. It's from the PT or like the other IELTS exam, but you can check the referral here, discharge here, and in case of urgent referral, the only urgent word is mentioned in I'm writing to refer urgently uh, that patient, like patient's name, then the whole paragraph will be the same. So these are the opening sentences, these are the closing sentences for the referral letter. I will share these lines in the group as well, and the other important clips are also uploaded, have also been uploaded on our channel. You can check that for that purpose as well. For the referral letter, you can make your own line, or you can simply cram these lines to make them in your reflexes. I would appreciate your prompt attention to this matter, or you can see you can write the patient's warrants specialty level of care. In that in that in that case, your um, efforts would be appreciated. You can write in that way. In the discharge letter, you have the same type of the thing here. If you have any further query, please do not hesitate to contact. Like these important lines should be in the closing sentence. The body components, it actually includes the important information from the chronological way of the order. Like you have to start with the initial visit, and then you will go with the second visit after the initial visit, and then you will go the most recent visit or the 2 days visit. Before that, you have to write subsequent visit in between. And then if you're writing the visits detail, you should go with the first with the presenting complaints, and then you will go to the investigation findings. And presenting complaints also include the examination findings, that can be subjective and objective. It's mentioned on the case note. Then you will go to the investigation, then the management area will come. Management includes the pharmacological and non-pharmacological measures. You have to put both these measures, and if there is a follow-up visit, you also need to put that visit in that place. And the other important findings like past medical history, social history, occupational history can be included with in the separate paragraph that I will going to elaborate in the next part of the video. So, before going to that part, I have a very important section of our today's workshop, that uh, are the common mistakes to avoid during the writing. There is a separate video of this important part on our channel as well. You can visit and check there. But let me summarize it once more for you. The first important point is, do not use the word patient. For God's sake, don't ever dare to use this word patient, or if you are referring the patient, or if you are writing the patient for the first time in the paragraph, please use his last name, not his second name. It can be the third name, it can be the second name. Please use the last name of the patient. If you will not do this, it will be considered very rude. Even if you are doing it in the speaking section, it will be considered very rude and informal. You should be very formal, and you should be very polite in your way. And please note that do not use this word there. Similarly, the other important point is, do not use the word disease ever in your writing or speaking. Always use condition in that place. It is more appropriate and formal in conditions. Next important point is, do not hesitate to use the article. Maximize the use of the article is the key to success in OET exam. If you are if you are leaving some articles, the articles include a, and, or the. So if you are opting that, if you are like removing these articles, it will be considered as negative impression. So you must make sure to put the articles in that in your place where they are needed. The next important point is always make sure to count three commas that I have already told you, and this is the rehearsal or the revision of that important point, that these three important commas are must to do, and you should evaluate it. You should check it after you have completed your letter. If you have put these commas in their place, I have mentioned before. The next important point is S of sincerely is always small. Don't ever dare to use the capital case for this sincerely. It will be considered very negative. The next important point is male and female words do not give good impressions, so always use the profession, or you can use man or woman in place of male or female words. The next important point is do not use apostrophe in grammar sentences like syntax. Like I have the example here. I'm using do not word here. I'm not using this annotation or this syntax here. This is not the appropriate way or the formal way to write in your writing subtext. It will considered as the as like informal way of the writing, and it will give a negative impression. So don't use it. Instead of that, always write in that way. Ever in you haven't to do this like in wouldn't, isn't, like these important syntaxes. Next important point is capitalize the disease name which is named after scientist, like Huntington's disease. The H of Huntington's disease is must be capitalized, but the disease which is not named after scientist can be written or should be written with the small case. Like diabetes mellitus, the D for diabetes should be small, and M for the diabetes also should be small. The next important point is capitalize the drug brand name only, not the generic name. It's also important while you are writing, while you are also important in your listening subtest. When you are putting the brand's name there in the fill in the blanks, you must capitalize the drug name which is named after the brand, but you do not need to capitalize the generic name of the drug. Next important point is use before in place of ago and on in place of upon. That is also important. Like there is a phrase commonly used in our letters. 3 months ago or 4 months ago, he had these symptoms 5 months ago. So this ago should be replaced with before, like 3 months before, 4 months before. This is more appropriate. Similarly, like we are using the phrases upon examination, upon investigation. This should be replaced with on investigation, on examination is more appropriate. So I hope I'm making it very clear that these mistakes are very important, and you should avoid them in your official test. The next important area of our workshop is the tips and tricks. I know this is the most cumulative area here, an exclusive area. So so we will not waste more time to highlight these important points. The first point is make the word count manually before the task in 5 minute reading. As I have already told you that you need to utilize the 5 minutes of reading very carefully, and these important word count can be written in your subtest. These important word count can be written before your subtest, and you can have this trick like if you know that these you write 10 words in one line, you will need around 20 lines only to complete 200 words. Are you getting? If you are getting my point, then you will put the dot, or you can set the mark at the end of the 29th. It will make you aware of when you are reaching the limit of your test. You should manage yourself in that exclusive area. So this is an ultimate trick to be concise, to be in the word range. you can use this trick in 5 minute reading part. The next important area or the point is the always focus on for positive findings only. Like I have mentioned you, positive finding means the real findings which are mentioned in investigation uh, or history or examination. The next important point is you can use Grammarly or ChatGPT for self correction. these important softwares these important softwares are now well known for the correction area, and you can use smartly these important softwares, and can evaluate your letters easily. And if you are not aware, you can ask in our group about how to use Grammarly and how to install. I will answer and address that query. The next important point is you can seek help from us for correction as well. We have some experts and you can seek help. We are giving this important spot to the students as we have already gone through this important phase. Obviously some of the services are paid, but most of our services are free and you can utilize them, and you will I hope you will get benefit from that part. There is no need to make complex sentences. Like I have told you, there is no criterion of making complex sentences in marking, and it will eventually lead you to deduction of the marks. The next important point is use linking words and phrases. Like these are also card connectors, like however, on the other hand, in addition to, moreover, therefore, these important connectors can be used in speaking as well. The next important point is utilize time efficiently to proofread the letter. Obviously this is not an like a new thing for you. You need to utilize the time efficiently to go for proofreading. If your grammar is weak, seek help from a file. OET grammar, it is shared in our groups. You can download that file, and you can have important correction there from there. So I have a template here that is very well known, and you will find this template very helpful in your evaluation, in your task as well. First, you will start with doctor's name. Like I can write doctor. You can put dot here, or you can write without dot here. That like it's Dr. Zain Abbas, and the profession of uh, Dr. Zain Abbas is physician, and hospital is Sheikh Zain Medical College, and the address is near UHS Lahore. And you can see these are the first four important points, and I haven't used comma in front of any of these important points, and this is the optimum way to write to start your letter. The date, there are different formats, but the best one is, the most formal one is this way. You can write in this way. This is the most optimum one, but it will include comma in between. If you are writing in the conventional way, like in this one, you don't have to put the comma in between. And if you are doing in this way, it is also considered correct. So you can choose any of these format according to your feasibility. Next important point, addressing annotation. Dear doctor, you can put the dot or you can not put the dot. It's your choice. Dear doctor, now I will not use the first word. I will use the last word. Dear Dr. Abbas, that is the last word of our doctor. That is my name. And next is the patient name, Miss or Mr. I will use Mr. or Miss, Miss Annie Hall. And age, you can write the age or you can write DOB, date of birth. That can be written in many formats, like in this format as well. And sorry, you have to put the slash here, or you can put the comma in both of these dot. It can also be written in this format, and it can also be written in this format as well, that like I have told you before. But make sure this comma should be here, and sorry, this comma and the other comma should be here. These two important commas should not be missed. And next is the opening sentence. I have some opening sentences and introduction of all that I'm writing to refer Miss, Mr. or Miss, whatever the patient's name. You should write the last name of the patient here, Miss. um, and next you will write 25-year-old teacher, or you can write 25-year-old woman whose sign and symptoms suggestive of myocardial infarction for further assessment and management under your esteemed care. This is very simple, and like I like this important referring sentence. It includes the very clear purpose, and it's the good opening sentence. Then you can write in chronological order. The first visit was on the 14th date, and then next visit was on the 17th May, 17th date. And you will start with the presentation here, like Mr. ABC presented with dash 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 dash, and then his examination short, and therefore investigations were ordered. He was advised to reduce weight. Now, as we are addressing the female here, she was advised to reduce weight, and furosemide was prescribed. And you can see I am using the small f here because it's the generic name, not the brand name. And also I'm using m of myocardial infarction and I of myocardial infarction small because it's not named after disease. And I am using the patient's second name here, like Miss Hall. You can see Miss Hall presented with particular sign and symptoms. And next, you have the next visit. Again, you will start the visit with Miss Hall presented with. Again, you have to write the last name of the patient in the same way, and don't ever dare to write he, she, or pronoun or the patient itself in this case. Miss Hall reported. You need to you need to highlight this important word here. First we have used the presented word, and now we are using reported word here. Then is investigation. Now we have the female here, and then her investigations here revealed. Therefore, she was advised for the other review in 2 weeks, and all the other subsequent visit can be summarized in this sentence. His or her situation or conditions got worse or better, you can write. And the next important paragraph includes the today's visit. She came with yeah, start the patient's last name. Miss Hall came with the sign and symptoms of this particular disease with the worsening of the disease, and you are now referring the patient to the next doctor. And the next paragraph include please not line. It includes all the social, family, and occupational history if it is relevant to the disease of the patient, like smoker, or she is diabetic. Sorry, she is diabetic. You can write diabetic here. She is the smoker. Like you can write with this in this. You can write the information here. And next is the outro, or you can say the last paragraph which starts with in view of the above. You can write, you should write in the view of the above. In view of the above, Miss Hall's condition warrants a specialty care, level of care, and your effort in this regard would be appreciated. Do not hesitate to contact in case of any queries. And then there is the last word or the salutation. Yours sincerely. Yeah, it's S here, and the last one is the doctor with the capital D. So here we have concluded our whole workshop, and I hope so that it will make you feel much better than your previous evaluation. If you have any queries or regarding this workshop and regarding our groups, you can ask in our group section. You can ask in our WhatsApp groups as well. Your questions will be addressed. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.